In the glittering, treacherous world of the bold and the beautiful, where fortunes rise and fall like the tides of Malibu's endless ocean, love is never a straight path. It's a labyrinth of betrayals, whispered secrets, and heart-wrenching twists that keep millions glued to their screens. As of November 2025, the Forrester dynasty is once again teetering on the edge of ecstasy and agony, with one of daytime television's most enduring couples, Hope Logan Spencer and Liam Spencer, poised to exchange vows in what promises to be a ceremony dripping in opulence and optimism. Picture it, a sun-drenched villa overlooking the Pacific, white roses cascading like waterfalls of purity, and the elite of Los Angeles society Forresters, Logans, Spencer's gathered in designer finery, toasting to a fresh start. But oh, dear viewers, in the realm of B&B, no altar is safe from the storm. Weddings here are battlegrounds, altars of sacrifice where dreams are shattered like fine crystal under a vengeful heel. Today, on our channel dedicated to unraveling the sultry scandals of this iconic soap, we're diving headfirst into the swirling vortex of speculation that's got fans buzzing from Beverly Hills to the blogosphere. Will Douglas Forrester, the wide-eyed boycott in the crossfire of adult desires, be the pint-sized saboteur who halts Hope and Liam's march down the aisle? It's a question that's not just tantalizing, it's explosive, a powder keg primed to ignite the fragile peace Hope and Liam have clawed their way toward after years of infidelity, amnesia, and near-fatal accidents. Strap in, because we're not just discussing. We're dissecting, dramatizing, and dreaming up the chaos that could unfold. Is this plotline barreling toward our screens like a freight train of family drama, or is it a fever dream born from our collective craving for more Forrester mayhem? Let's peel back the layers of this glittering onion and see if tears screams are in order. To understand the stakes, we must first rewind the reel of heartbreak that has defined Hope Logan and Liam Spencer's love story saga as turbulent as a monsoon over the Santa Monica Pier. It all began in 2010, when a wide-eyed Hope, the virtuous daughter of Brooke Logan, collided with the brooding charm of Liam, son of media mogul Bill Spencer. Theirs was a romance scripted in the stars, innocent kisses under Italian sunsets, vows exchanged in rustic cabins, and a bond forged in the fires of corporate intrigue at Forrester Creations. But B&B doesn't do happily ever after without a side of sabotage. Enter the eternal triangle or quadrangle, depending on the week, with Steffi Forrester, Liam's ex, whose siren call has lured him back to her bed more times than we can count on one manicured hand. Fast forward through the betrayals, Liam's infamous one-night stand with Steffi in 2017, Hope's devastating miscarriage that same year, a plot twist that had us all ugly crying into our coffee, and the endless custody battles over their daughter Beth, who was once presumed dead in a gut-wrenching baby swap scandal. By early 2024, Hope and Liam had weathered it all, rebuilding their fractured fairy tale with therapy sessions, tear-strict apologies, and a renewed commitment that felt almost believable. Hope, ever the beacon of moral clarity amid the Logan's legacy of scandal, had turned down Thomas Forrester's obsessive advances not once, but twice. Thomas, that brooding sculptor with a heart as twisted as his latest couture design, had poured his soul into grand gestures, a proposal in the ruins of an ancient villa, a diamond ring the size of a doorknob, whispers of forever that masked his darker impulses. Hope, torn between her loyalty to Liam and her role as a maternal figure to Thomas's son Douglas, had gently but firmly shut the door. "I love Liam," she declared in a scene that crackled with unspoken tension, her blue eyes glistening under the studio lights. "Our family is whole again." But wholeness in B&B is as illusory as a mirage in the desert heat of a Los Angeles summer. Hope and Liam's engagement announcement in mid-2025 sent shockwaves through the Forrester mansion, a velvet-gloved gauntlet thrown down to the ghosts of romance's past. Steffi, now a powerhouse executive with a mane of blonde ambition, smirked through gritted teeth at the news, her green eyes flashing with the fire of unfinished business. Bill Spencer, ever the puppet master, raised a champagne flute in toast while plotting his next media spin. And then there's Ridge Forrester, Hope's stepfather and Thomas's father, whose divided loyalties could fracture the family like a fault line under the San Andreas. The wedding date is set for a lavish affair at the Forrester estate, with custom gowns by Zende and a guest list that reads like a who's who of daytime royalty. Invitations have been sent, rehearsals rehearsed, and hope for the future line at Forrester Creations is booming with bridal-inspired collection ceramic. Given the storm clouds gathering on the horizon, yet beneath the tulle and tiaras, a seismic undercurrent rumbles, the absence of one small but seismic figure. Douglas Forrester, the cherubic 6-year-old, or is he 7 now? Time flies when you're dodging paternity scandals whose innocent heart holds the key to unlocking or obliterating this union. As Hope stands before her mirror, adjusting the lace veil that symbolizes her surrender to marital bliss, does she spare a thought for the boy she once called her little prince? And in the shadowed streets of Paris, does Douglas dream of the woman who bandaged his scraped knees and sang him lullabies, only to vanish like a fairy tale gone awry? Let's transport ourselves to the City of Light, where the Eiffel Tower pierces the sky like a jeweled dagger, and romance blooms in every cobblestone cafe. But for Thomas Forrester and his son Douglas, Paris in 2024 was no honeymoon, it was a hasty retreat, a bitter exodus born of rejection's sharp sting. Picture the scene. It's February, the air crisp with the chill of unrequited love. Thomas, his chiseled jaw set in defiant resolve, kneels before Hope in the Forrester Design Studio, the scent of fresh fabric and desperation thick in the air. The ring he offers isn't just jewels. It's a manifesto of madness, a plea wrapped in platinum that screams, "Be mine," or "Watch me shatter, Hope." Her golden hair, catching the fluorescent glow like a halo of regret, hesitates. The camera zooms in on her face of those classic B&B close-ups that capture every quiver of lip, every flicker of doubt. "Thomas," she whispers, voice breaking like fine china, "you're an incredible father, a brilliant designer. But my heart, it's with Liam. Always has been." The rejection lands like a thunderclap. Thomas's eyes, those stormy seas of obsession, darken to obsidian. He doesn't rag in it yet. Instead, he scoops up Douglas, who's been playing quietly in the corner with a sketchpad of fantastical dresses, oblivious to the adult tempests brewing. "Pack your bags, buddy," Thomas says, his voice a velvet sheath over a blade. "We're going on an adventure." By dawn, father and son are on a private jet bound for Paris, courtesy of Ridge's guilt-fueled generosity. Thomas spins it as a fresh start, ateliers teeming with artistic muses, crepes sweeter than LA's poisoned honeymoons, and a chance to heal the wounds Hope inflicted. But beneath the patina of paternal heroism lies a festering wound. Thomas, who once gaslighted Hope into believing she was losing her mind, remember the 2023 mannequin madness, now channels his fury into silence, sketching vengeful designs that echo the fractures in his soul. Douglas, bless his tender heart, is the true casualty in this continental caper. At just 6 years old when they fled, he was Hope's shadow, a boy she'd legally adopted as her own after Brooke's whirlwind marriage to Ridge made her his stepmother in every sense but the superficial. Hope wasn't just a guardian, she was a goddess. She braided wildflowers into his curls during picnics at the Forrester pool, read him stories of knights and dragons until his eyelids drooped like wilting petals, and defended him fiercely when Thomas's darker days cast long shadows. "You're my brave little knight," she'd coo, pressing a kiss to his forehead that lingered like a promise. Douglas adored her with the unfiltered fervor of childhood, calling her mommy Hope in lisping whispers that melted even the iciest Forrester heart. The hurt, when it came, was a dagger to his pint-sized psyche. Overhearing Thomas's anguished sobs in the dead of night, Douglas pieced together the puzzle. Hope had chosen Liam, chosen their family over his. The flight to Paris was a blur of tears and turbulence, Douglas clutching a stuffed elephant Hope had gifted him, its floppy ears now stained with salt. In the weeks that followed, Thomas threw himself into Parisian fashion circle collaborations with haute couture houses, late nights in smoke-filled studios where absinthe flowed like creative elixir. Douglas, meanwhile, navigated a new school with halting French phrases and a homesickness that gnawed like hunger. He missed the sun-kissed beaches of LA, the chaotic warmth of the Logan clan, and most achingly, hope. Letters arrived for the caliposts of the Seine with Hope's elegant script, thinking of you every day, my sweet boy. Paris adventures sound magical, but words on paper couldn't fill the void. Douglas's drawings shifted from joyful family portraits to solitary figures, a bride in white, alone at an altar, a small hand reaching out from the shadows. By summer 2025, Hope's pangs of guilt had crescendoed into action. Whispers from the set suggest she booked a ticket to Paris, her suitcase packed with apologies and toys, only for Thomas to intercept with a curt text, "He's adjusting." Don't disrupt. The rejection stung Hope deeper than she'd admit, fueling late-night confessions to Liam over glasses of chilled rose. "I miss him like a limb," she'd murmur, her hand tracing the curve of Liam's jaw. "He's family." Liam, ever the empathetic anchor, would pull her close. "We'll bring him home. After the wedding, we'll make it right." But in the undercurrents of B&B lore, such promises are tinder for tragedy. What if Douglas, overhearing a nanny's gossip about the impending nuptials via a transatlantic call, feels that final twist of the knife? What if the boy who once believed in magic decides it's time to wield a wand of his own? Imagine it, readers. The wedding eve, a balmy November night in 2025, the air humming with anticipation and the faint scent of jasmine from the Forester Gardens. Hope, radiant in a silk robe embroidered with silver threads, practices her vows in the guest suite, her reflection a vision of poised perfection. Downstairs, Liam paces the grand foyer, adjusting his cufflinks while deflecting Steffi's barbed congratulations. "Don't screw this up, Spencer." Hope deserves better than your wandering eye. The guests arrive in a parade of limousines, Brooke in a crimson gown that screams seduction, rich with that trademark furrowed brow. Katie Logan toasting with champagne laced with skepticism. The altar awaits under a canopy of stars and strung lights, a symbol of hope reborn. But cut to Paris, where dawn breaks over the Seine like a veil lifting on conspiracy. Douglas, now a gangly 7-year-old with Thomas's sharp features softened by Hope's imagined gentleness, stirs in his feather bed. A tablet glows on his nightstand, pilfered from Thomas's studio, its screen alive with bootleg clips of LA gossip vlogs. There it is, a breathless headline, "Hope Logan to wed Liam Spencer in Fairytale Bash." Accompanied by paparazzi shot chokes, laughter bubbling like a fountain, Liam's arm possessive around her waist. Douglas's chest tightens, a vice of confusion and fury. "Mommy Hope." Marrying, he whispers to the empty room, the stuffed elephant now a threadbare sentinel on his pillow. In that moment, the seeds of rebellion sprout. He's no longer the passive passenger in his father's vendetta. He's a force, small but unyielding, with a child's unerring sense of justice twisted by pain. The escape is a masterstroke of juvenile ingenuity. Douglas slips a note under Thomas's door, gone to see the real Tower of Love, and hitches a ride on a courier's scooter to Charles de Gaulle. His backpack bulging with sketches and a one-way ticket bought with allowance hoarded like buried treasure. In B&B fashion, we'd later learn Thomas had left his wallet accessible. A Freudian slip of subconscious sabotage. The flight to LAX is a white-knuckled odyssey. Douglas' charming flight attendants with wide-eyed tales of visiting my American mommy, his heart pounding like a war drum. By the time the plane touches down, the wedding bells are tolling literally, as a string quartet warms up with Pachelbel's canon. Back in LA, the ceremony unfolds in agonizing slow-motion splendor. Hope glides down the aisle on Ridge's arm, her gown a cascade of ivory silk that whispers against the marble floors, each step a vow to leave the past behind. Liam waits at the altar, his tuxedo sharp as a blade, eyes locked on hers with a devotion that borders on desperation. Vows are exchanged in sickness and in health, through every storm we've weathered, and the efficient in tones. If anyone objects to this union, the pause hangs, electric. The kind that has us shoving popcorn kernels into our mouths mid-chew. Enter Douglas, stage left, bursting through the French doors like a whirlwind in rumpled overalls and untied sneakers, his face streaked with jet-lag tears and determination. "Stop," he cries, voice piercing the hush like a siren's wail. Gasps ripple through the crowd, but clutches her pearls. Steffi smirks triumphantly. Thomas, who's arrived in hot pursuit, disheveled and wild-eyed freezes in the shadows. Douglas stumbles forward, clutching a crumpled drawing. Hope as a queen, him as her knight, Liam a faceless intruder. You can't marry him, Mommy Hope. You promised. You promised you'd always be my family. The words tumble out in a torrent, wry and ragged, exposing the fractures Hope thought she'd sealed. She drops to her knees, gown pooling like spilled milk, enveloping him in an embrace that smells of Chanel No. 5 and shattered illusions. Oh, Douglas. My sweet boy, she sobs, the mascara rivers carving paths down her cheeks. Liam stands transfixed, the ring box trembling in his fist, his world tilting on its axis. Is this the end? The camera pans to Thomas, lurking like a gargoyle, his expression a mask of paternal pride laced with possessive glee. Has he orchestrated this from afar? Or is Douglas's rebellion a pure spark of childhood anguish? The guests' murmurage thunders demands for explanations. Brooke weeps theatrically. And Bill Spencer already plots headlines, Forrester wedding wrecked by Tot's tantrum. As confetti lies unthrown and champagne sours and flutes, the question echoes, has Douglas, in his desperate bid for love, doomed Hope and Liam's happily ever after? This speculative scenario isn't pulled from thin air. It's woven from the rich tapestry of B&B's history, where children have long been pawns and players in the game of grown-up hearts. Remember Phoebe Forrester's tragic death in 2008, a car crash that scarred the family for seasons? Or little Rosie Marone, whose paternity bombshell in 2019 upended empires? Douglas fits the mold of vessel for unresolved tensions, his innocence a scalpel slicing through pretense. Fan forums are ablaze. On Reddit's are bold and beautiful. Threads titled Douglas Wedding Crasher, Hero or Heartbreaker rack up thousands of upvotes, with theories ranging from Thomas brainwashed him en route to Hope will choose motherhood over marriage, cue Liam Steffi reboot, Twitter or X. For the terminally online pulses with Savva Douglas and Hope Liam Forever, polls teetering at 50% for disruption. Even soap vets like Catherine Kelly Langbrook have teased in interviews. Kids say the darndest things in this show. They change everything. If this plot crystallizes, the fallout would be cataclysmic. Hope, torn anew, might postpone the wedding indefinitely, spiraling into a custody crusade that pits Logans against Forresters in courtroom showdowns more dramatic than any Met Gala. Thomas could weaponize Douglas's devotion, staging tearful reunions that blur lines between co-parenting and coercion. Liam, ever the good guy teetering on implosion, might lash out perhaps a heated confrontation with Thomas under the Hollywood sign, fists flying as thunder cracks overhead. And Douglas? He'd emerge scarred but stronger, his I do to family loyalty a harbinger of arcs to come. Teen rebellion, perhaps a design prodigy rivaling his kin, or the glue mending the Forrester fractures. Yet, for all its drama, this tale begs reflection. In B&B's glittering grind, where love is courtesy and betrayal the interest, does Douglas's potential interruption romanticize a child's pain? Or does it humanize the chaos, reminding us that in the Forrester universe, no vow is ironclad without the whisper of what ifs? As head writer Bradley Bell has hinted in recent soap opera digest chats, family is the heart of B&B. A&D hearts break hardest when the innocent get involved. So, bold and beautiful devotees, as the credits roll on this imagined episode of Matrimonial Mayhem, we turn to you. Will Douglas Forrester storm the altar, a tiny tornado of tears and truths, halting Hope and Liam in their tracks? Or will cooler heads prevail, with a post-ceremony picnic mending the rifts under LA's forgiving sun? Drop your theories in the comments below. Will it be wedding bells or warning sirens? Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the bold and the beautiful's bottomless well of drama, and share this with your fellow fans plotting over Chardonnay. In the words of Brooke Logan herself, love is never simple. But oh, is it worth the fight? Until next time, keep watching the skis in the shadows for the next twist. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe my channel for more updates on the bold and the beautiful.